Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Fearless Episode 3. We have my good friend Kekoa Lwin, all the way from Hawaii, coming to the Seattle Bellevue market. He's absolutely killing it. Super excited to have him on.
Aloha.
What's up, brother?
What's up? Hey, you say it pretty good. All us local guys, we call it bra-da. Da on there. Like there's some sort of pizzazz and special recipe to the emphasis on the back end. But
you know, those little small things count, man.
Absolutely. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. You know, it's 4 p.m. It's been a good day today. I'm at my home office. I was planning on doing this at the Tacoma office, our actual office, but it just worked out that I.
Oh yeah, I heard you had a good shoulder workout today. I did chest this morning. You know, and you have a good workout in the morning. The rest of the day is beautiful.
It is. You know, usually I try to hit the gym around about 6.
Yeah.
I'm usually out of bed before 5, and then I usually go back for cardio. But today I went to the gym like around 2:30, and then I'll go back after this interview.
Yeah, see, 2:30, you get all the high schoolers that are just Instagramming and telling all the world that they work out, and they haven't picked up a damn weight. And
I'm trying to get like you, man.
No, you just wear baby Gap clothes. All you do. Wear smaller clothes, and you know, then people are like, you work out? I'm like, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, no. Just diet.
Yeah,
Jeans,
exactly.
You know.
Just Oreos, ice cream, small clothing. Once in a while, we might walk to the mailbox. You know,
that's it. Good. Yeah, it's all
Trips
good.
in snow once in a while because we're in Seattle this last couple of weeks. Man, the snow is crazy.
Yeah, it's been bizarre. Usually, if this happens, it means that we're gonna have a pretty fantastic summer. So,
well, you know, so far everybody up here in the Northwest, they lie.
Yeah.
Yeah. January, when it was like starting to get warmer, they're like, we miss winter. It's going to be spring. It's going to be gorgeous. And then bam, 25 inches of snow.
And then everyone's depressed and sad.
Yeah. And now they're all like, we're moving to Hawaii. I'm like, yeah, see, you all lied.
That's right. That's right. So, Kekoa, if you wouldn't mind, give us like a 10,000-foot overview of who you are, where you've been. I mean, this is an opportunity. Don't see this as an opportunity to brag. See this as an opportunity to just set the stage for who you are, because you're a really humble, nice guy. You come across as Joe Blow, but you're not. You're extraordinary. You've done some incredible things. I believe you're like the #1 flipper in Hawaii, and now you're in Seattle, and you're also beating up Vegas. What is going on?
Well, whoever gave you all that information, they're also lying to you.
Yeah,
really not all that cool. We just like all the books behind me. I just put them on the shelf.
Just bought them,
just so it looked like I read books.
Sure.
But, we really haven't made it through remedial English, so I'm still trying to figure out. There's Hawaiian, there's English. It's very confusing. We're trying to figure that all out. But yeah, no. So I've been here in the Northwest about 3 years roughly now, and then. We're based out of Hawaii and originally did real estate residential fix and flips. So we did a lot of those on the islands, mostly the island of Oahu.
Yeah.
Not that we couldn't go to the other islands. It's more just because we didn't have the crews out there. But trust me, we tried to get out to Maui and Kona and Hilo more because I wanted to take the flights there.
Yeah.
And back on our properties.
Totally.
Out, at the beach and get some good food. But so Hawaii has always been kind of our home base. And then Seattle, there was kind of an opportunity, and maybe I'll share a little bit about that as we talk about the topic here today. But it brought us up to the Northwest, and then we were only going to do it for a short time, and then we kind of fell in love with the place, and we fell in love with the people. And then my kids, they're young, so they went to the elementary school in Issaquah.
Okay.
And supposed to just check it out for a year, and then darn it, they made friends. And then once, 4th and 5th graders make friends, then you just feel bad pulling them out of school again.
Then you're locked in.
Yeah, we're locked in, dude. We are locked in. And I don't know if you've ever been to Issaquah Highlands, but it's a little bit like Leave It to Beaverville.
Sure,
it's a cult, I think it is, pretty much. Everybody knows what you're doing. They know when you left for work. They know when you went on vacation. And they know your kids. And, they see you at the gym. And you're like, dude. And then they even know what you buy at Safeway because everybody shops at the same place. And so, it's been a fun community. And we just came up here more just to hang out for the family. And then we took a look at the real estate space. Of course, Tarl and Brandon Turner and all those guys are like, you might as well get something and do something while you're there. And so I was flying back to Hawaii about every other week, which isn't such a bad reverse commute when you sit in off-high traffic for 2 hours some days. I'm like, I'd much rather get on a plane and fly over the Pacific to Hawaii than to sit in this traffic. You know what I'm saying?
God. Yeah, for sure.
So, Yeah. So, you know, nobody felt sorry for me when they're like, yeah, what's your commute like? And I'm like, well, it's a 5-hour commute. They're like, no way. Where do you go to? You drive to Portland every day? I'm like, well, you know, I fly to Oahu.
Yeah, I'm going like 600 miles an hour.
Yeah, exactly. I've got a driver, a girl who brings drinks, you know, and I've got 3 movies. You know, it's a pretty rough commute. And they're like, you know, there's all kinds of swear words after that. And I don't feel good about myself, but, you know, it's all good.
No, that's awesome, dude, because I remember when we first started talking and kind of getting to know each other, every time I talked to you, you're somewhere else. I was just like, you were in Hawaii, and then you were back, and then you're in Hawaii again. I spoke to you again. You're like, hey, sorry, man. I'm like, you're somewhere in Vegas. Then I was like, is like, are you on tour right now? Or is this, you know, kind of your life? And then you kind of allowed me more into your world in terms of like how often you travel and just your overall operation. So I'm really, really intrigued by that, because I think oftentimes people get focused on just one area and become very comfortable and try to do a pretty good job of dominating it. But, you know, not only are you expanding your operation, but you also seem like you don't have a job. I mean, you seem very laid back and relaxed. And I'm sure there's millions of people who would love to learn, how do you balance all of these things while still being so lighthearted?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it starts with marijuana. Then you got a little bit of rum and coke, and then you round off the night with a little bit of cardio. You're too exhausted. You roll into bed. The next morning, you do it again, and you're like, "This is great life. I love it."
That's it. That's hilarious.
In Hawaii, we call it pakalolo. So next time you go to Hawaii, just get off the plane and go, "I'm looking for some pakalolo." You'll have a lineup of people ready to serve you.
That's hilarious. That's good.
But yeah, no, it's been great. It's been a great adventure. I mean, I look at life as just an opportunity. Every corner has a chance to get to know new people and to experience new things and take new risks. And so Washington's been, you know, a risk for us, and so is Vegas. So the reason we travel quite a bit, I like the fact that you call it on tour. I'm going to start telling my friends I tour.
Yeah.
You know, because everybody else is like, why do you travel so much? I'm on tour.
I'm on tour, bro.
Really? Yeah, they're like, what's your album look like? I'm like, I've got no album. I just, you know, I'm on tour.
I'm on tour. Come on.
Yeah. But yeah, no, we're just checking out the Vegas market. We have a shopping center we're looking at off market because we've been in the residential space for so long that we're looking at some new opportunities. Buy and holds are great. You know, we've done the rentals of duplex and that type of thing. But the problem with renting duplexes or multifamily units is that when the tenant has a problem with their sink, they call you. And if they have a problem with their refrigerator, you have to go pay and replace it.
Yeah.
You get into a shopping center, whatever issues the tenant has, you bill them back for whatever they need. They need a new parking lot, you bill everybody for a new parking lot.
Yeah.
You need air conditioning, no problem. We're going to bill everybody for the air conditioning.
Yes, so, premium.
That's absolutely. So we're learning about that space. We do have a house that we have under contract down in Vegas as well. So I'm actually headed down there tomorrow.
Oh, wow.
So if you'd like to jump on board, you know, we're going on tour.
Yeah, that sounds incredible. I'll meet you at the airport.
Yeah, absolutely. You don't even need to bring clothes right now. They said it's 70 degrees. It snowed last week, but they said it's 70.
That's
when
amazing.
You're coming from Washington, 30 degrees to 70, that's twice as hot. I mean, I don't think, you know, I mean, that's a heat wave for us.
Yeah, no. So I've been to Vegas so many times, but never really ventured too far away from the Strip. The furthest I've ever ventured was like Red Rock
Strip
Hotel.
or strip clubs? Which one was that?
The Strip.
The Strip. Gotcha. Yeah. I could see that'd be hard to venture away from.
Sure.
Yeah.
So let's dive into the first question.
Okay.
Fearless. Kekoa, how would you describe your relationship with fear, and how does it affect the choices you make on a daily basis, whether it's in your business life or your family life?
That's a huge topic, right? Fear is just massive.
Absolutely.
I think for me personally, and I'll just speak for myself because everybody's got a different perspective on this. I've just realized in life that fear is good and bad. Like there's both of them, right? There's good fears, there's bad fears. When somebody says, I have no fears, I'm fearless, I'm like, you're lying.
You're lying. Yeah,
you have to be lying because there's good fears. Like good fears helps us to stay within boundaries.
Totally.
Good fears helps us to understand that there's there's a fire and, you want to stay away from it. Good fear tells you, hey, if there's somebody you love, go tell them you love them, right? You know, and
right.
It helps you to not curse out the cop that pulls you over because it's, pulled you over for speeding and 500 other people are going faster. Those are good fears, but there's some bad fears, right? The bad fears are like what holds me back from my potential, holds me back from doing what I should do. telling somebody I love who I should tell that I love, so there's some good fears and bad fears. And so I've always wrestled with trying to figure out the balance between the two. And I'm sure you're probably the same.
Yeah.
But somebody once said early on when my kids were first born, and it was really interesting, is they said that we are only born really with like two fears.
Yeah. Fear of falling and then fear of loud noises.
Right. Those are the only two fears. Yeah. And so it's like every other fear we've learned somewhere along in life, which means if we learned it, we can unlearn it.
Yes.
And so it's trying to figure out then which are those fears that we picked up along the way in life that we don't have to have with us.
Right.
And that's the challenge.
That's the challenge. That's the challenge, man. I was watching this thing on this podcast by Will Smith.
Yeah.
And he put it really well. He basically said, it's not a question of can you handle the problem or can you solve the problem or if you're intellectually capable of dealing with the thing that is sort of acting as a blockade or you think that's acting as a blockade. But the question is, can you deal with this? Can you deal with your mind? Because your mind knows you, it knows your weaknesses, it knows your strengths. And for whatever reason, it's kind of out to get you. It's kind of out to show you, stay small, don't play so big, don't make such a big, loud noise, don't brag, don't try to take on the world, stay small. And, I think oftentimes we as human beings, there's so much information that's coming in telling us to pipe down that we kind of have to forcefully override it and say, hold on, 90% of that stuff is never going to happen. Like all the stuff that I worry about and I'm fearful of never actually happens.
Right.
And I feel like the more that you're courageous and the more that you take on the things that you're afraid of, the more you realize, hold on now, I'm pretty amazing, number one. And number two, all that stuff that I'm afraid of isn't real.
It's not that bad. Well, I think that thing is that you mentioned earlier, that thing that is that fear, that weird thing that drives us to not do certain things, the thing that causes us to not take a step of faith and take a risk and, go and do our first flip or go buy that first buy and hold. That thing I think is that somewhere along life, we believed in a lie.
Right.
And I say that because it's kind of like probably for you too. I remember when people said something when I was young, they'll tell you something like, you're not fast enough. You're not good enough. You're not tall enough. You don't have enough money. You're not, you're not going to, and all these things adds up to a lie that we believe.
Yeah.
That is the fear that we learn because there's only those two fears of falling and loud noises, right? That we got when we were born. Yep. And so have you noticed that in your life though, that there was something that somebody said to you that you believed, but it was a lie and it caused you to fear something?
I don't know. I don't remember if I ever had anyone. I feel like I've read it in a lot of books and I've heard in a lot of podcasts. And I'm always trying to learn from people who know more than me. Yeah. And I've heard that from many people, but I think that I've been lucky in some regard to have never really experienced that. I didn't, as far as I can remember, I never had any teachers tell me, hey, you can't do something, or my parents ever tell me that. For the most part, I think I had a pretty good upbringing for people saying, hey, Jeremy, you can do pretty much whatever you want.
Nice.
But
you got all the stuff going on that you have is because you had the fortune of people believing and lighting a fire. And
maybe.
But really, that's kind of unusual, right?
Yeah. I mean, and it could be that I'm lying or that I'm like suppressing off. Maybe someone was like, you suck from the day I was born. But I just think that the human brain is designed to protect you. It wants you to survive. Like that's the number one thing it wants. It wants you to survive and procreate. Yeah. So as long as you do that, you have succeeded as far as our primal instincts are concerned. And I feel like the need and the want to go beyond and to sort of jump and see how far you can go is just above and beyond what is absolutely necessary. But I feel like if you're a human being, if you're of average intelligence, you have 2 arms and 2 legs, or if you don't have any arms and legs, you want more. I feel like we sort of all intuitively know that there's something incredible inside of us. And I want for myself, for my family, and for my friends, for you, I want us to all see how far we can go and like blow ourselves away.
Yeah. Well, I think when we watch the Olympics, for example, the Winter Olympics was just on, we all would love to be there.
Sure.
We all want to get the gold one day. And
right. We break the record.
Right, right. You know, and it's something that we're like, you know, we should do that. We could do that. And then something comes into our minds that says, you know, but I don't have the time.
Yeah.
Or I'm really not that fast. And
Right.
wherever way we learn that fear,
Yeah.
somewhere in our brains, we
Sure.
came up with this, you know, we can't. I remember right after I got out of college, I majored in accounting and minored in girls because accounting is where all the girls were.
Sure.
And so I fell into a major, and then I got a job right out of college. And so I went in with an athletic scholarship, which ended up, you know, being completely a waste. But I come out and I'm ready for accounting. And then the president of the company came up to me and he told me the greatest truth for my life. And he's like, you suck at accounting.
Really?
Like, talk way too much for accounting.
Okay.
You get a marketing. And so you can do marketing and you can go talk to everybody across the country. And I was like, this is awesome. So that was the greatest truth. But then the coworker that I was working with who was training me was concerned that I would take his job. So everything I tried to do, he kept saying, you're not saying it fast enough, or you're saying it too slow, or you don't have all the data right, or you said this. All of those lies, right, became like, you know what, I suck at marketing. Yeah. And so I need to go do something else. And so I know for me, at least, you know, there is some of that fear that comes from a truth that I believe that is not accurate.
Okay.
And I totally agree with you that I think deep down inside, I'd love to go for the gold.
Yeah.
I'd love to, you know, do something huge that's more extraordinary than anyone else can imagine.
Yes.
And it's that fear that we got to balance between what's good fear and bad fear, because some of that good fear drives us, right?
Sure.
And it causes us to strive.
Yes.
And then there's that bad fear that causes us to just be like, you know what, I'll never be able to do it. We don't have that kind of money.
Sure.
And I hear that a lot with a lot of young investors, which is my passion. A lot of brand new investors, whatever age they may be, that are kind of new. They're like, hey, I don't have enough money. I don't have enough experience. I don't have a mentor.
Right.
I was told that I'm going to lose my shirt, so I need to go get all this insurance. And I'm listening to all these fears that they have, and I'm like, man, if I listen to those fears, I would leave this industry.
Wow.
Because it's freaking scary when you hear of everybody's stories, right?
Man, this is amazing. This conversation is going in a different direction, but a better direction than what I was anticipating. So let's just scrap the questions and stay on this course. What are you trying to accomplish, not just in the space of real estate, but Kekoa at 85, when you're 85 years old, laying on your death, 105.
105, bro. I tell everybody at the gym every morning, I'm like, I'm going to outlive you, and I'm going to outlift you when I'm 100 years old. My wife's grandmother just passed away at 100 years old.
Wow. That's
she
okay.
smoked the chimney 3 packs a day, and that was her legacy. She's like, you know, people tell me I have to stop smoking. She's like, I'm going to smoke, and I'm going to outlive you all. And she outlived everybody she knows.
Strong will.
And so the same, and I get where you're going. It's like, okay, so on your deathbed.
Yeah. So on your deathbed, what did you do? Like, what's your legacy? What did you accomplish? Not so much financially, like, oh, you know, I have $100 million, but what did you do? What was your mark that you left behind?
Wow, that's a big question.
Yeah.
Well, you know, and I think part of that does drive from my fear. So one of my greatest fears in the industry that we're in is that money becomes my focus.
Okay.
And when money becomes my focus, I lose sight of the fact that my legacy should be my focus.
Sure.
And so that's my greatest fear, is that I miss my legacy, which is what's going to happen when I'm 100 years old.
Right.
Because I mean, and you and I are both in the same industry, and probably most people who are going to listen to this are going to be like, yeah, I'm in real estate. And some people, if they're really honest, it's like, you know, because I know it's a 6-figure income or a 7-figure income, and I'm going to make this profit and that profit. And don't get me wrong, I love the money that's in the industry.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that, of course. Yeah.
No, it's well, except when it causes you to lose sight of what's most important. Sure. In my opinion. And so for me, you know, again, I love the money. In fact, this morning I was looking at a Tesla because I really want a Tesla.
Yeah, man.
And I'm excited about that. Yeah. And so knowing me, I will have one in about an hour and a half. That's
really?
Just my goal. I get on a roll and I'm like, I'm buying it, you know, and it's a bad habit.
No, that's good, dude. Honestly, you should live like that. I believe you should live like that because you're going to die. And you can say, I'm healthy. I work out every day. I eat my vegetables. I pray. You could die tomorrow. And you can't take your assets with you. You can't take your money with you. And so
I'm going to coach you on that in about an hour and a half when my wife gets home.
Okay.
I'm going to say, Jeremy said I need to buy a Tesla tonight.
Yeah, it's on the blog. It's going live next week, honey. I can't be a liar.
Yeah. It's got to sit in the driveway because we're going to have to Facebook this puppy.
Exactly, yeah.
But a big part of it is I enjoy the money, and a big piece of it after doing so many flips and really having a brokerage and our own general contracting company, being in multiple states, it's helped me to realize that what's more important than money is the people that I get to do the journey with. Right. Because when you get to 100 years old, we may still be flipping houses, but by that point, there's probably enough money that we don't have to work as hard as we are going to need to work. Sure. And maybe we can't even work that hard, right? Because something has happened in our bodies. But what I would love to see is that I didn't focus so much on the money, but I focused in on the people, the young, emerging investors who are learning. And that's so much of what we're doing these days is taking on brand new investors that we meet at a meetup, like fixated on real estate, and say, hey, just come alongside. And you can shadow everything we're doing. Every spreadsheet's yours. Because in the end, I'm going to still make a bunch of money.
Sure.
But now I've also made another investor who's going to be a mom or a dad who's got a kid who's going to go to college because of the money they made off of real estate because I taught them real estate. Does that kind of make sense?
Yeah, that makes great sense.
Yeah, I think to me that's super cool. And so, so when I get to my deathbed, I think that's of all the companies we may own, of all the properties we may flip and all the families that get to live in one of our houses, I want people to look at my legacy and say, that was a guy who was in one of the most materialistic industries you probably could be in.
Sure.
But yet lived as selfless and generous as possible by giving away education, giving away finances to poor people. We sponsor an orphanage in a third world country called Myanmar. And we love that just because those people will never be able to give us money back.
Sure.
What we're giving is the dream.
Yeah.
And so when I think about being 100, I want to go to the grave totally empty. Like I don't want any potential left. You know what I'm saying? Right. And I want no fears to have limited me from that potential from being released.
Because that would be the worst. Honestly, that would be like, I asked that question because I went to this mastermind. Are you familiar with the book, The 12-Week Year?
Yeah.
So Brian Moran, CEO, I bought the program, bought the book, started reading it, started training a bunch of people on it. And so he invited me to this mastermind in Orlando, Florida. And so I got to spend 3 days with them and got certified under that program. But the thing that I walked away with the most, he says, imagine this, imagine being 85 years old, you're wealthy, and you're sitting at the beach. Where do you want to be? What have you accomplished? And remember, you're going to be there. Hopefully you're going to be 85 and hopefully you're doing well for yourself financially.
Yeah, and you still got abs,
Yeah, all that good stuff. But, I want to be wiped out, like you were saying. I want to look back at my life and say, yes, I became who I always thought I was. Yeah. And there's nothing left. There's nothing that I wanted to do that I didn't do because I was afraid, because I was just too soft to try. And that's my biggest thing, is that I believe that we as human beings are spiritual beings having a human experience. And I believe that I've always been conscious. I'm conscious now. And I believe once we pass, we're conscious as well. And I think the biggest fear that I have is looking back after I've crossed over and saying, Jeremy, you could have done more.
Yeah.
You could have been so much more, but you were scared, man.
Right.
Right.
So how do you do that now? So how do you today, for you, how do you make sure that you will in, 40, 50 years, be at a place where you say, I did everything that I needed to do and fear did not stop me?
Well, I look at it from this point of view. I say, okay, who do I want to become? Right. And so I look at it from this point of view is, what does Jeramy Poole 5.0 look like?
Nice.
What does he look like physically? How old is he? Where is he living? How many homes does he have? And what has he done? And then I look at how far am I from right now to Jeramy 5.0. And right now I'm probably like Jeramy 1.2. Right. And so And so how do I get there? And what does that look like? And what's standing in front of me from taking massive action today? And a lot of it is just clarity. Like, what do I want? And what is the fastest thing to do? A big part of the whole 12-week year program is blue chip activities versus white chip activities. You know, these white chip activities are simple things like make the phone call, you know, respond to email. Blue chip activities are like launch a new vlog called Fearless and ask cool people like Kekoa to be on your show, and then do a mastermind in San Diego for 30 people. You know what I mean? And so just doing these things and walking by faith into the person that you want to become and being fearless in that and saying, life is just an empty canvas. I'm the painter. I'm Picasso. I am Leonardo da Vinci. Who am I sculpting rather than constantly responding to the environment? I want the environment to be influenced by me versus me being influenced by the environment. And and oftentimes I think for me to do that, I have to be money conscious, but I also have to be not so money focused in the sense that I don't want to be so focused on the dollars, because I believe in order to build something massive, you kind of have to overlook that and be more focused on building the bigger, broader thing. But there's a balance there. Also, I found that for me, all the things that I really, really want to do scare the shit out of me.
Absolutely. It should. Because you know what? I think at the doorway to every awesome vision or decision lies the doorpost of fear.
Yes.
Every single one. Like
that's why I'm doing the show, bro. That's why I'm doing I believe that, and I've wanted to extrapolate that from guys like you. Like, do you also have the same thing? Because I also believe that if you have intuition or inspiration, that it's not yours. It was given to you, I believe, by the universe. And now it's your job to pick it up and look at it and say, yes, I accept. I accept the challenge. And you probably don't have the resources. You probably don't have the connections. You probably don't have all the knowledge. So what? Do it anyways, right?
Absolutely do it. Because like you said earlier, what precludes us is that little simple question, what if? What if I fail? What if I have no money? What if everyone looks at me funny? What if I fall down and everybody laughs at me? What if I invest in my first flip and I lose $400,000? And what if I try to do, a podcast or a mastermind and nobody signs up? It's like, so what? So my response to what if is so what?
Dude.
So what if nobody shows up in San Diego? You got a free vacation to San Diego. Hit the beach, go to the pool, tell everybody that you're having a great time in San Diego. You know?
and that's big, man. That's easy to say, but that's so big once you get to that point and you say, okay, what's worst case scenario? Worst case scenario, I promote this thing and nobody shows up. And I've been there so many times. I remember my first big event. Well, I call it a big event because it's my first event. I just moved back from San Diego. Nobody knew who I was. I haven't closed any loan transactions at that time. At this time, I was a mortgage broker. Okay. I just got my license now. It's been a couple of months, brand spanking new, and I'm promoting this thing called the P&W Real Estate Social Club. And I have no idea how to work Facebook. Like I'm just green. I just have nothing but ambition. Yeah. And we promote, and then we get 84 people to show up. It was a really cool event. I got 5 transactions out of it. So I'm like, okay, now let's go bigger. So then I rent out the Glass Museum in downtown Tacoma, 8,400 square feet. And I'm telling everyone, I'm going to throw the biggest, baddest, sexiest New Year's party on New Year's that Tacoma has ever seen in the history of Tacoma. Like that's how I'm promoting this thing.
That's dreaming big, man.
And then it hit me. Jeremy, you don't have the slightest clue what you're doing. You have no idea how much it's going to cost you. You don't know anything. And so about 3.5 weeks before the event, dude, I have 35 tickets sold.
Woohoo!
And this event's going to cost me like $48,000.
Nice.
Basically, all the money that I just made is spent.
Yeah.
And so I said, okay, I'm probably going to fail. So let's just give it our all. Let's just give it our absolute all. And we got really smart with Facebook marketing. That's when we started to build the brand. Long story short, we sold 474 tickets, raised like 20 grand from sponsors. And it wound up being the biggest event that venue has ever had, outbeating Lexus, outbeating Expedia, outbeating all the big Fortune 500 companies. They have never thrown that scale of an event ever. Yeah. Besides some little guy named Jeramy Poole decided to do it. It just goes to show you that often sometimes if your back is against the wall, that's when the best comes out of you.
Yeah, when the odds are stacked against you, that's your greatest opportunity.
It's your greatest opportunity to swing hard because worst case scenario, you get knocked down.
Yeah, and so what? You know, that's always for me. Anytime, just like if you had allowed what if we don't sell more than 30 tickets, and what if, you know, I lose $50,000, what if it could have stopped you right there, but then you go forward and you're just like, so what?
Right.
So what? I've made a bunch of friends. I now know how to negotiate a party, lease a massive venue, you know, so what? You know, you don't know that.
So what? And then once you accept that so what, then it's like nothing can hurt you.
Absolutely.
I've already been to the deepest, darkest valley. So now it's nothing but sunshine, you know?
Absolutely. Well, so, Marsha, I don't know her last name. She's a psychologist from the University of Washington, and she's one of those really cool, smart people. She's a doctor, and her whole focus is mindfulness.
Right, yes.
And there was a season of my life where I burnt out of everything, and I had to go to inpatient rehab up in Edmonds. So I was there for 8 weeks. It cost me $20,000 a week to just get.
Damn, $20,000 a week?
Yeah, dude, $160,000 on me. Like, I think I should have just donated the money and just gone to heaven already. But, you know, I pushed through it. But so she really helped me think through this mindfulness thing. And that's where I got really this understanding that what makes every day so joyful, and I think you mentioned this earlier, is like, how do you not feel stressed, and how do you not exude stress, and how do you see everything as a lot, almost like a party every moment?
Yeah.
Because it's literally because when fear comes and says, what if, I literally say, so what? Because the so what allows me in this mindfulness thought to embrace what if.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
So then I'm just like, okay, so what if I start Las Vegas, and what if we buy a shopping center, and what if we pay $20 million, and what if we made a mistake? So what? Wow. So we would lose all of our money, which actually is a bank. So we only have like 5% down. So we lose like, you know, $500,000.
Yeah.
So
right.
So I embrace that and say, can I deal with that? And if I can deal with that, then so what? Let's try it. Let's
swing for the fences. Yeah.
You know?
Right.
And so for me, that's just been huge because for so many things in life, whether that's having another child or buying a Tesla or figuring out if I'm going to compete in a bodybuilding competition this next year, it's like, so what if, right? Thanks. Yes. So there again, I coach you on that.
All right. Yeah.
You know, so what if this all happens? It's like, so what if it does? Because I've now mindfully thought it through, and I'm embracing what if.
Yeah.
So that fear doesn't stop me again, because I've now taken that fear and I put it in its place.
Yes.
And now I'm walking through that doorway of decision and saying, so what's behind me? And I'm moving forward, and I'm going to throw the biggest freaking party Tacoma has ever seen. Right. I'm going to have the greatest mastermind program that started in San Diego and becomes a national franchise.
That's it.
It all starts with that first.
Talk to me, Kekoa. No, that's it right there. And I remember when I was 18 years old, before I started my first moving company, when I was 18 years old in my mother's apartment, I remember being on my knees, literally crying to God, not because anything was bad was going on in my life. Actually, things were quite good, but I didn't want to be normal. I wanted a journey. I wanted a story. And everybody that was around me went to Curtis High School, got a decent job, got married, had kids, had a house, maybe two, and that was it.
Yeah.
And that
couple car payments.
And that scared the crap out of me. I remember crying on my knees, asking God, like, I don't care if you have to like punish me or put me through some hard times, but I want an incredible journey. So when I'm a grandpa and I tell my grandchildren my story, they're going to say, no way, grandpa, that never happened.
Right.
You're lying. And have grandma say, no, everything he said is true. He literally did all of those things. Yeah. And that's kind of life I've always wanted to live.
Right. Because normal is characterized by fear. Weird is right?
Yes.
So being weird in today's culture is like, hey, we're going to go do this. And
right.
people are like, why would you do that? You know, and I process a lot of my stuff at the gym. So, you know, I try to beat you to the gym at 5:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
All the people at the gym in Issaquah at 5:30 in the morning are the Costco execs, Microsoft execs, Amazon execs. So I'm around really smart old people.
Sure.
And so there I am working out, and I've got a couple buddies that we work out, but we're always throwing ideas around. And there's always somebody who's a little bit wiser and has been normal that says you should do it, because if I could do it all over again, I wish I would take bigger risks.
Dude, that is it right there. That is it right there. And you know, as a young kid I knew that I did not want to go to college. I knew that I wanted to be a entrepreneur. I knew that I was willing and able to take on risk early. I knew that about myself. And I started talking to older people. And what I found out was Jeremy, most people don't have a dream. So the fact that you have one and you have this burning desire, and you're not really it's like having a Ferrari in the garage. And it's purring, it's ready to go, but you're just not really sure where to go. I feel like I felt that way for the longest time.
Yeah.
And realizing that if you do have that burning desire, it's not yours, and you got to do something with it.
Yeah. You got to steward it. You got to take it. You got to expand it. You got to blow it up. You got to
blow it up. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because here's the deal.
You got a Ferrari in the garage, and it's got 0 miles on it.
Shame on you. Shame on you.
You've got no memories in the Ferrari. You've had no cool rides.
Yeah.
You've got nobody staring at you on a street corner going, that is a cool car.
Right.
You're going to go to your grave with a Ferrari in the garage.
That's
and
the saddest thing.
All the potential of what could have been in terms of a story, in terms of memories, and if nothing else, incredibly large speeding tickets.
Yes. That's when you know that you're doing something right.
That's what you need to do. Is when everybody else goes, you are out of the box, you are out of line, you're weird. You're like, yes, I am weird, and I like being weird because weird is not what I want to be. Because the normal is be fearful. Don't dream big. Don't chase after what you feel in your heart. And when other people say don't try something, you listen to them. And I think that that's just a scary place to be. And what's beautiful about the industry you and I are in is that we're surrounded by people who take risks every day.
Every day.
And it's exciting. What's unfortunate is when they take uncalculated risks and they make a mistake, now their fear is so large that now it causes them to be paralyzed for future decisions. And so I think that's another huge thing to unpack is like once you failed, get back up and do it again.
Yeah, and look at it for what it is. Don't blame the industry, don't blame the economy. And sometimes those things are elements and they're a part of it, but see it as a learning opportunity and take that as a massive lesson. I mean, we can all learn from coaches, from books, from programs, from mentors, but there's no better lesson than failure.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You have to do that. And you and I are both gym rats. So when you exercise to failure, it means that you're exercising for the greatest success.
Yes, for growth.
So you have to fail in order to actually succeed. And so that's such a huge life lesson that it's like, so what? You lost money. You're 30 years old. Pick up, go get another loan or go work harder and do a moving company, make some more money, and you're going to make it back because you're never going to make the same mistake again.
And just think about how much stronger you are now. You know, the other people around you are like, oh my God, I never want to lose money. And now you're in a position to where like, you know what? I've had my ass handed to me and it wasn't that bad, you know, or it was terrible, but I realized how strong I am.
Yeah. And I knew what it took, what mistakes I made to get there.
Right.
And now I know those are the guideposts in life to say, hey, I'm not going to, this feels a little close like last time. So I'm going to make this decision instead. And now this time we'll be successful or maybe we'll fail again. And, we'll be successful. I mean, most major entrepreneurs, when we take a look at their biographies, they failed a ton of times.
A ton of times. And sometimes, in the past, if you look at the average millionaire files bankruptcy a few times.
I know. That's what I was thinking that the other day. And I was telling a friend, I'm like, man, I look at all these successful entrepreneurs. They filed bankruptcy numerous times. And now look how successful. And so I'm like, you know what? On my schedule this week, I'm going to declare bankruptcy. Because I don't have one yet.
I'm one step closer.
Right? I'm like, wait, I'm missing out. If that's the recipe, I'm doing something wrong.
That's hilarious.
My list. I'm going to go get a Tesla, and I'm going to declare bankruptcy right afterwards.
There you go.
Tesla.
There you go, dude. Buy a few cars.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then give me one. Done. That's awesome, bro. Well, Kekoa, this has been a lot of fun, man. I'm looking forward to getting to know you more. I'm looking forward to traveling with you.
Anytime. Tomorrow, airport, SeaTac.
I'll see you there.
Yeah, bring the Speedos.
I will. I have them. I'll bring them. All right, my man. Well, seriously, though, thank you very much. This has been a great episode, and I'll be in touch.
Right on. Thanks, Jeremy. Take care. Good luck to all you do, and keep dreaming big, man.
Yes, sir. Let's do it. All right, buddy.
Take care.